Hello and welcome to Fintech Focus TV with me, Toby. Delighted to be joined today by Phil from Taskize. Phil, how are you?
I'm great.
Wuhan bump?
Indeed. Thank you very much. Be safe. Be safe.
Absolutely. So we're right in the eye of that storm at the moment. We'll come on to that a little bit later on. But listen, welcome back. This is your second appearance on Fintech Focus TV.
Thank you for having me back.
Well, it's lovely to have you. Listen, last time out, it was your second time on the list of the most influential fintechs, and you've done it for 3 years in a row now.
Yep.
The company's gone from a seedling when we first spoke to the mighty oak it is now.
I wouldn't say oak,
but heading towards.
Towards it, yes.
It's been a great story, and it's been lovely to see a company grow so successfully over that sort of time.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about. There'll be people there who will have, of course, seen last year's. I think it's been called Epic, hasn't it? It's been an epic. But there'll be people who haven't, and people who haven't yet heard of the company. But tell us, if you were to explain it in a short caption, how would you describe Taskize?
Taskize is an intercompany workflow platform specifically designed for financial services operations, focused on radically reducing issue resolution time by replacing email and phone in post-trade. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
And we spoke about this before, but post-trade being an area that's seen an enormous amount of traction over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Why is it so interesting right now?
Two reasons, really. A lot of fintech innovation was focused on the front office. Mm-hmm. It's definitely moving down into the operational space. Mm-hmm. And second of all, huge amount of regulation is happening in operations, and people are looking to get solutions outside of their own build capability.
Okay, so look, a year on, the world's moved on a lot over the last year. You guys have continued to innovate, continued to grow. Tell us about what's different. What's different a year on from when we last spoke?
Well, so the network has grown. Obviously, we're now up to about, I think it's 220 clients that are live on the platform.
Fantastic.
There's about another 40 who have signed up, who are coming through the onboarding process. So the network is growing very strong, which is great. What's key about that, though, is some of the names on the network. And it takes a long time to sign a tier one because they have a very protracted information security requirement.
Procurement as well. Yeah.
Very, very long time. So last year, we brought on 3 large tier ones on the sell side and the custody side. Super. And 3 large buy sides. So that's a really good win for us.
Yeah.
And because these large organizations create a gravitational pull for the network.
Yeah.
But the number of customers is important, number of clients is important, but so is the amount of volume going through the platform. So volumes are up, which is important, and the trajectory is in the right direction, so we're delighted about that. But most importantly is what clients are getting out by using Taskize. And clients are saying to us that they are experiencing up to a 70% reduction in issue resolution time. Which is huge, right?
Yeah.
Some others are saying up to a 90% reduction in email traffic, and others seeing a 3 times improvement in the productivity of the operational staff. And that's very important for Taskize because when we started, we were all about settlement efficiency. So it's great to see the customers getting value out of the platform.
Well, look, those statistics speak for themselves, and they're hugely impressive. And I think if we look at the listing over every one of the last 3 years, and we look at all the companies that have been on the financial technologist list, that sort of ability to put the customer at the centre of what they're doing has been crucial. So I think one of the sort of real standouts for you guys has always been that ability to listen to the customer, to see what sort of issue they have, and provide genuine real-world solutions to them.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be careful, right? Customers sometimes have a habit of asking you for things that are going to take you off from your strategic goal.
Yeah.
So you have to balance those requirements, which we think we do quite well. The key, I think, for any small company is to make sure that you do one thing and do it really well.
Yeah.
So we're focused entirely on intercompany workflow for issue resolution. And everything we do is to make that process easier, less friction, and faster.
Yeah. So talk about some of the key themes you're seeing and you're looking to do at the moment.
Well, they're big themes now. So last year we were talking about regulation and interoperability, and they actually flow all through into this year as well. Excluding the impact of coronavirus, because we're still in the middle of this. the idea for Taskize was a realization that as a solution provider, we can't operate in a vacuum. We have to be able to play nicely with the other capabilities that are out there. So interoperability for us means connecting to the internal exception management systems of our large customers. So they will have sophisticated workflow, and now they will connect to the workflow of Taskize, which allows them to reach into another organization. So that's a huge increase in efficiency.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interoperability includes connecting to partners, and those partners who have best of breed capabilities inside certain verticals or certain business processes. They will always be pushing to strive for greater STP, but when STP fails and they need to resolve an issue, they'll look to connect to Taskize for the intercompany workflow. And then the final part to interoperability for us is looking at other technologies that are out there, and the biggest one for us is integration with email. So we launched this in December of last year. We'll complete the full release in a couple of months' time, and through email integration, all inbound inquiries over email can now be handled inside of a bubble. So you, as a customer on Taskize, can process all of your client flow inside of Taskize. And also the ability to create a bubble and invite somebody that's off network, so reach off network to invite them in, which means that from the sell side's perspective, they can now accommodate all of their clients, and from the buy side's perspective, they can accommodate all of their brokers and custodians. And there's lots of different use cases for that. So that's quite a big thing for us, and the clients are very excited.
And there's also a lot of noise around regulation at the moment.
Always noise. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you're helping there.
Well, we probably distilled it down into one key regulation for this year called CSDR. It's a regulation that's targeted for transactions in the European markets, specifically to increase settlement hygiene. So Taskize has been about improving settlement efficiency from the very first day. So we've been live now for 3 years, and all we focus on is settlement efficiency. The CSDR regulation is putting more focus on that, making customers get better at their settlement efficiency, which is obviously good for Taskize. But then it also brings in obligations around, if you don't manage to settle on time, you then go through a penalty period, and if you still haven't managed to settle, then you go into a buy-in period. And clients of ours came to us and said, look, you're helping us on the settlement efficiency side. Would it be possible for Taskize to extend that through the penalty process and into the buy-in process? And of course, we were delighted to say yes. So we've now been working with key clients and tracking the regulation. There's still a lot of movement in this regulation to include penalty processing support inside of Taskize, and most importantly, buy-in capability. And the reason I say that that's most important is because Euroclear, which is an ICSD and a group of CSDs, large group of CSDs in Europe, have said that they will receive buy-in trade information through Taskize for those clients that aren't SWIFT enabled.
Fantastic.
So that's a really big thing.
Yeah. So loads and loads are happening, which is great. We sit here talking now mid to late March. And there's a global crisis circling around us. And within that, you guys are again able to thrive and well, probably the wrong term.
I wouldn't say we're thriving, because our customers are obviously seriously impacted on all levels. Never mind about market volatility, but it's actually the ability to run your business when everyone's at home.
And it's you being able to help, isn't it? I think it's probably
very much so. I mean, so I think the important thing is that. So first of all, Taskize has gone completely remote already. A third of our workforce were remote already. The other 2/3 are now working from home, and from us, there's been no drop in productivity. So we're all geared up to do that. But the other part is for our clients. What's different about Corona is that in normal BCP situations, main offices go out to their DR sites, and those DR sites are set up for all of the business functions. But those DR sites are now off limits because everyone's actually having to isolate at home. So people are now dialing in through the VPNs, which means that management are struggling to be able to control and see what work's going on. From our perspective, Taskize can actually support that model. We don't mind where people log in from as long as they come through their secure networks. Obviously, security is key, which means that management are able to monitor and control the work of their workforce, even though they're distributed, whether it's locally or whether it's globally, but outside of their office space.
Yeah.
So Taskize becomes the one place to manage all of the issues and exceptions and work that you have that has required you to reach into other organisations to go and collaborate to resolve the issue.
And this is something which you guys had always geared up to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's no change in our business model. Yeah. It's no change in our technology.
And so that came through from what reason? I mean, it's a coincidence that it helps so much right now.
Yeah.
What drove that in the first place?
Oh well, the original design around Taskize is that because of the heavy cost pressures in operations, everybody had executed an offshoring and an outsourcing model.
Yeah.
And as they had moved their operating centres to these other places on the earth, two things occurred. One is they lost control, and two is people couldn't remember who they were speaking to one day to the next, and the churn rate in these offshore centres is very high.
Yeah.
So Taskize takes all that problem away.
Yeah.
Because when you're working inside of Taskize or when you're working inside a bubble, we aren't interested in who you are as an individual in operations. We're interested in what you can do.
Yeah.
The function that you perform and the experience that you have in performing that function is more critical to me than who you are. So on one day it could be one person, on the next day it could be another person, and it shouldn't really bother you as long as they've got the same skill set.
Yeah.
So Taskize was designed with that in mind, and if you think about the impact of the virus, that's just taking it to an extreme.
Yeah. With such volatile times, it's difficult to do this, I know, but you know, three years ago we saw you as a very, very startup and exciting business. It's sort of grown every year and with mightily impressive return. Where do you think you'll be this time next year when we're talking?
Well, well, first of all, I hope we're talking this time next year. That would be lovely. Second of all, I hope that the virus has passed and that we've all come out of it on the other side and we're all okay, because that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
In terms of Taskize as a company, the network will continue to grow, but what we're seeing is that those individuals that are on the network are beginning to self-serve and self-connect. So we now have companies that are going, oh, I didn't realize so-and-so was on the network. I do business with them. I need to contact them to resolve issues. And they're actually coupling up themselves, so the amount of flow is growing exponentially. And I hope that that continues into next year.
That's the ideal sort of community situation, isn't it? When you build a product like that, I mean, if you go back to the original Salesforce model, it's not dissimilar to that when they first started up and creating evangelist
you never know.
networks. So this time next year, $1 billion quarters.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
Listen, it's wonderful to speak to you again. It's so good to hear the company
has
continued to move forward so impressively, and it's great to have you on the list again. And let's go for the big number 4 next year.
Indeed.
For those people who are watching who like what they've heard or interested to find out a little bit more, what's the best way of getting in touch with you?
Okay. So the best way to get in touch with Taskize is via our website, taskize.com. There's some information about the regulation, CSDR. There's some information about the platform, and there's also some contact details as well.
Phil, listen, it's been brilliant talking to you. Congratulations again on the business, and as I say, I look forward to another stellar year. We'll look forward to speaking to you soon.
Indeed.
And thanks to you. There we go.
There we go.
Thanks to you all for watching, and we'll see you soon on another episode of Fintech Focus TV. Cheers.